What's going on, Met fans? We're watching the New York Mets get their doors blown off once again in Philly. Non-competitive team. I don't care. It's Zach Wheeler out there. You knew the pitchers you were going up against. The Chris Sale, the Schwellenbachs, the Striders, the Wheelers. And for everybody who came at me all offseason, literally all offseason, Ray, we don't need front-end starting pitching. This right here, this week, the put up or shut up week displays why you need top end flight starting pitching. And besides that, where the hell did these bats go? Are we really going to retract and go back to what we were last year? The best team in baseball the first 2 months. Now we are completely non-competitive with teams like the Rays. The Braves, who are 11, 12, 13 games out of the playoffs behind us, sweep our ass like we're sitting still. And then you have Zach Wheeler tonight. They battled. They get him out early and do absolutely squat. Hey, Soto, there's a guy on base. How about we swing at a first pitch every once in a while? Even the broadcast is saying, well, he must be looking for something, because he's watching pitches go down the plate, which he's been doing this last week. Or how about Mendoza? Mendoza, wake the hell up and defend some of your pitchers. Blade Tidwell's out there throwing, let's be honest, a pretty damn good game against a pretty damn good lineup. And there's close calls, not getting called. You see the Philly manager getting into it with the umpires. And then Mendoza, that play at first base change the balance of this game, regardless if it's right or wrong. You're in the 7th inning, and Brandon Nimmo, in my opinion, was safe. The first baseman's foot is off the bag. And they're talking on the broadcast, well, it looks like Mendoza's just getting to that now. Where the hell's the first base coach? Saying, yo, put pause. Let's take a look at this. No one puts their hand up, Dan. They don't even look like they want to review it. Wendy's just sitting there like this, chewing his gum. Yup. Like, this is a big, pivotal point in the season. We could go from being 5 games up 10 days ago to arguably being 3 games out by the end of this series. That is a big boo-boo with this team. The bottom of this lineup doesn't hit. Shout out to Alonso hitting a monster home run. Jeff McNeil, a good home run after him. But where is everyone else? We can't get on base. It's non-competitive. Little pop flies into foul territory, into short outfield positions. It's literally non-competitive right now.
Nice play, Beatty.
Yeah, nice play by Beatty. But too bad he can't get on base. I don't give a crap anymore. He can play great third base. You look at the guys, our options that are around the diamond. Tyron Taylor can't hit. Brett Beatty can't hit. Nimmo and Alonso are the only guys hitting right now. And Terrens. But it's like, Dan, where's the heart in this team? Where's the guy to say, yo, let's go, team. Let's go, fam. Wake the hell up. Jose Iglesias is not running through those blue and orange doors. It's not happening. And we shouldn't have that. You replace Jose Iglesias with Juan freaking Soto. And another thing on top of that, Dan, this bullpen is gassed. Look at Brazoban. Reed Garrett's tied for 3rd most in innings. Brazoban's number 1. This bullpen, and that's why we're seeing so many guys go up and down, as they show Mendoza just looking at the ground, hanging out. It's very infuriating. There's a lack of passion. There's something not clicking. These are huge games, big series this entire week, Dan. And we just kind of walk in like, it's just another game. No, it's not just another game. This is your division. You play less and less in the division, which means these games mean more and more. And to get blown out game 1, especially when you have Blade Tidwell, and that's probably a home run right there. Let's make it 10-2. Why not? That dream story of Garza's over, huh? Tell you that. What a statement this week has been so far. An absolute statement against this roster. And you got to put some blame on Stearns. You have to. And I'm his biggest defender. But the bottom, you came into the season thinking Mark Vientos is going to replicate what he did. Fine. But what was the backup option, Dan? Where are the veterans on this bench? Our bench is full of guys in their early 20s who've never hit in the league. Acuna, never hit in the league. Beatty, never hit in the league. Mauricio, never hit in the league. I mean, and we're gonna fight and say, our big guys we got in the offseason, Jose Siri hit 188 last year. Another guy who can't hit in the league. Tyron Taylor, a fourth outfielder who is an okay fourth outfielder. I'm not gonna lie, but playing every day for extended stretches, he should not be put in that position. The roster construction, that's what we're going to start attacking. Because if the starting pitching doesn't hold up, Dan, that's on David Stearns. Because you had the big dogs out there. Yes, Corbin Burns got hurt, but you had the Max Frieds out there. You had the Burns out there. You have a lot of these higher-end pitchers, the Walker Buehlers out there. And once again, we went to the bargain basement, and a lot of people, including myself, say we got to give Stearns the benefit of the doubt. But his biggest acquisition to the team this offseason, Griffin Canning, who nobody wanted, Frankie Montas, who's a walking injury, who can't get on the field, who's got a 12.5 ERA down in AAA. He's going to be the savior. I mean, Sean Manaea looked good tonight. I'll give you that. But Kodai Senga is a paper tiger. The guy's never healthy. Who is the sure thing in this rotation? We don't know what Clay Holmes is. Griffin Canning is not the guy. He wasn't the guy last year. Sean Manaea
Peterson
for 6 months, Dan. Kodai Senga missed the entire season. Who's the guy that I say I'm handing the ball to and he's going to be the stopper long term? We don't have it. And we didn't have it last year. I think I ranted enough. That had to be like almost 10 minutes.
That was unbelievable. And I want to give a round of applause and everybody in the comments, like, definitely let's give Ray his flowers real quick for that.
No flowers needed, dude. It's just very frustrating. I spend a crap ton of money. I pay the extra ticket prices. We try to bring you guys the most honest content. We on this platform, one thing you could trust here, I will not toe the company line. We have the same guests pretty much everybody else has on, some better, some worse, however you want to put it. But I will not throw flowers when flowers are not deserved to be thrown. There's a lot of content creators out there. And I'm not targeting anybody specific. And I know who everybody is in the community. So people want to cover the team. You cover the team how you want. I will call it how I see it. And I'm not always going to be right. Of course, I said don't get rid of Eric Chavez. I'm starting to look in my head. And I'm not saying because he's a bad coach. I'm saying because this team needs a kick in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, you bring the passion, Ray, and I think a lot of people see that, myself included. I see it. It's authentic. And listen, we need that at a time like this because, listen, this is disheartening. You're right. These are games that are big. These are games that are meaningful, and the Mets have fallen flat on their face up until this point. You can still salvage the series. You can still take 2 out of 3. That has not changed. But the mindset has changed as these games go on and the less deflating that these games become. Mets were in this game, tied 2-2. McNeil, Alonso, you're sitting there saying, okay, the old stoppers are coming through for the Mets. The orange and blue can get it done. And then before too long, the game's way out of reach. And there's not many positives to take. You could say Jose Budo giving you 2 clean innings. Sure, that came out of nowhere. Nobody expected that. But at that point, who really cared? So a lot of things to take apart from there, too. Mendy, I get it. He's going to feel a lot of shrapnel from this. Stearns, I'll get to him in a second. Mendy can be to blame. I'm not going to excuse Mendy. Definitely you can get on him. Jared Young is one. Leaving pitchers in too long. I get it. I would have went with Mauricio. Marte has really good numbers against Wheeler, too. I believe 304 in his career. So there's definitely other options they could have went with. He had a single to begin his first at-bat of the game. You're sitting there saying, okay, he's matched Mauricio. How does he do? Every at-bat since, he's been a no-show. So you're right. All these batters we expected to see called up and that were the answers long-term. The Mauricios we're sitting here saying, and I still believe in that, but he's raw.
Yeah, I do too.
He's very raw. He's not ready for the big league spotlight yet, and that's not a knock on him. He's still inexperienced and coming off an ACL surgery and reconstruction. So again, there's
Brett
things.
Beatty gets a pitch clock violation. That's 2 pitch clock violations tonight, Dan. That tells you they're not mentally in this.
I know. I got it. And then final thing here too with the managers and stuff. Beatty all gets smothered. Nice play by Stott over there at second. But listen, there's going to be blame. You want to place blame. I want to touch on Stearns real quick because he's inexcused until the trade deadline. Like, I want to see who you add because the Mets have built themselves a cushion. We've talked about it. And you can get on Mendy for kind of making decisions that have limited the cushion up to this point. But Stearns has put a good team in place. You can nitpick and say, oh, we wanted Sevy instead of Montas. Well, it's really apples to oranges at this point. It's tough to compare. But my real assessment of Stearns right now is, how do you address this trade deadline? Do you go out and address a catcher? Do you go get a center fielder? Do you go get a DH? Do you go get a lefty for the pen?
There's so many holes, man.
High leverage, low leverage, like medium leverage. So you guys get it. That's my little rant. But hey, 10-2, top 9. Mets down to their final out. Taylor at the plate. Skies one to right field. Carrying out there for Castellanos, who squeezes it, and the ball game is over in Philadelphia. The Mets dropped the first game of this series 10-2. Post game back on.
My gosh, dude. When I look at the runs scored over these last, against the Braves, we had, let's see, you have 3 games, 6 runs, 2 runs a game. Get shut out the final game against Tampa. You put up 4 and 5 in the first couple games. This team, we could scream until the cows come home about the starting pitching. We can, which, I saw an article come out earlier today, and we'll get to some of your guys' comments. Appreciate all you guys in here. I was just fuming at the beginning of this because it's very disheartening. You hear a lot, especially now they're showing the standings. You're a game below. We were 5 games up literally a week and a half ago. And everyone's calling for Acuna to play. He can't hit neither. What was Jared Young today? 0 for 3? Shocker.
One hit a hit.
Telling me he's going to go deep. There's just so many bad bats. And let's be honest, Dan. And they talked about it yesterday. The team cannot always go as Francisco Lindor goes. Lindor's 0 for his last 18 now? Has had a hit in 5 games?
Yep.
I don't know if the toe's bothering him, but something's got to change. And we already did the whole movement with Soto going down to the 3-hole. Everyone goes, well, we gave up 10 runs today. At the end of the day, Blade Tidwell gave us the opportunity to be competitive in this game and kept it tight. And we just can't score. Outside of Alonso, we're just not scoring. Very infuriating. Let's get to some of these comments. If you guys want to get your comments read live on stream, comment on YouTube or Facebook. Let's get to some of this. Klub starting us off. This is effing brutal. I agree, man. Frank, brutal. Goomba, I've had enough.
Brutal.
Andre, what's with this dog? You know what performance? This falls all in Stearns. What's that?
Was on Stearns. I mean,
Houdini act with the pitching lab failing in grand fashion. Look, the pitching lab has worked to an extent, but eventually talent wins. That's what wins in Major League Baseball. And I saw the article earlier today talking about the New York Mets, and a lot of people around the league are loving their pitching prospects. Now we're talking about trading them. You guys think Stearns is trading pitching prospects? I have a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn if you really believe that. Oh, I got to shut this stupid post game off. I cannot bear to look at that. But so it's this is the issue. Look, I blame partially Stearns as well, but this is year 2. The whole farm system, bringing nobody up lately over the last few years, falls on Billy and Epler. End of story. The guy couldn't draft. The guy couldn't sign. The only thing positive he did was he overpaid for Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander, and Steve Cohen bailed him out. I don't give Epler credit for that because he made a bad move and Steve Cohen came to save the day with his wallet. That's not a good move on his part. You're starting to see, look at the Dodgers. They have a great farm system. The Red Sox, great farm system. These teams are able to produce quality players. The best player we've gotten out of this farm system the last 3 years is Brett Beatty, and he stinks as of late.
Peterson. But I hear you. Yeah, more recently is Beatty.
It's going to be 30. He's been here for 6 years. That's before Billy Epler.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's complete malfeasance. And that's why you're seeing, that's why when we go out and say, we're going to go get the big bat at the deadline, with what? You guys let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm nuts, but do you think Billy Epler, who loves his prospects, is sitting there right now saying, I'm prepared to trade Jet Williams, a potential all-star talent with a 930 OPS in AA, for a rental in Suarez from Arizona? There's no way. No way, Dan. Come on. Dan, you think he's doing that?
No.
You think when Arizona calls and says, you know what? He may not be the greatest of players, but he's on pace to hit 45 home runs. But Boston's calling. The Dodgers are calling. The Yankees are calling. Houston's calling. The Brewers are calling. San Diego's calling. The Giants are calling. Everybody always loves to give away the 50th best prospect in a trade proposal, right? Until they call and say, hey, you know what? We like that kid, Brandon Sproat. We know he's not doing well this year, but we see a lot of potential in him. That's who we want for our rental. Look what it costs for Javier Baez, an all-star, a potential MVP candidate in P. Crow Armstrong right now. Imagine having him on this team. It's like every bad move that could have been made over the last 5 years was made, and we're still paying for it. Now you are seeing, and I hope this doesn't deter Steve Cohen from spending money, but he went out there. He's paying, with the signing bonus, Juan Soto $120+ million this year. And he's got to be sitting there thinking, wait a second. We're not much different from last year's team. We're better, I think, but Severino's not here. Who's replacing that production? Right now, nobody. Canning was. We'll see what he does against the Phillies. Do you think he ain't going to get rocked? He's been getting rocked the last 3 or 4 outings, which is okay. He's a 5th starter. That's what you bring a Griffin Canning in. Us as Met fans, Dan, have been so spoiled these last couple of years where everybody pitches like a 2 or a 3. But Canning was brought in to be a 5th starter. The issue is very simple. Everybody's pitching like a 5th starter right now. The bullpen, everybody's pitching like they're mediocre. Reed Garrett, completely overused. He's starting to not be as effective now. Brazaban's not as effective now. Kranick's got the arm injury. Minter's done for the season. It's starting to just snowball on this team. And I don't know who's going to stop the bleeding. Does Lindor have a foot right now to call another team meeting as he did last year? Because we're in that territory. I know we're not 11 games under, but you feel the slip. It's not like this is just we got swept by the Rays. You got swept by the Rays, by the Braves, and you get blown out game 1 against Philly. We're on that precipice right now, in my opinion. And I'm not saying we can't right the ship. We are talented. I'm not dumb and naive to that. But right now, I feel it could go either way. Philly's getting hot. If they take these next 2, we're looking up 3. Are you telling me in 2 weeks we wouldn't be looking up and it's 6 or 7? I wouldn't be surprised. We'll get to you, Dan, and then I'll get to some of these comments.
Yeah, a lot of these teams getting hot at the expense of the Mets and the Braves. You don't want to be the reason that they get hot and they get back into the playoffs. But as of now, hey, we've kind of been the catalyst as the reason why they're getting hot. And if they roll right through us at the 4 games back at home starting Monday, then you start to worry. That I want to see how this whole trip goes, right? From the beginning of the Atlanta series, hasn't been good, got swept. Now to the Phillies series. Hopefully they can still take 2 out of 3. And then you have that big 4-game set. They're clearly pressing. Said it on the broadcast, SNY after the game. Like there is definitely something here that I think we're not looking at, and maybe like we're overlooking. Like, yes, they have talent beyond belief. This team is, again, the best Mets team. I get you lost Iglesias and you added Juan Soto. I think it's a big difference. Like the whole team just feels like it's moving towards something bigger. And yes, there's going to be bumps in the road. It's not going to be pretty, but listen, this just they're going to figure it out. It's just right now you got to address it at the deadline and got to add a bat, go out and add a Jarren Duran, go out. You really want to do a blockbuster. All right, the Orioles are starting to falter. Maybe go swing a Cedric Mullins, but also swing an Adley Rutschman if you don't think, Francisco Alvarez is the real deal. Hunter Goodman from the Rockies, Ryan McMahon from the Rockies, all of these faltering teams. Go out and swing for the fences. Do what we did in 2015. We've talked about this on Spaces. Yes, you get the big guy and, Cespedes, of course, but you get the Kelly Johnsons, the Juan Uribes. These are the guys that get you over the hump. Tyler Clippards for the bullpen. Maybe go at a Kyle Finnegan from the Nats. There's ways to figure it out. It doesn't look clear right now. I get it. But someday it will. And this team they've built themselves a cushion, but just don't let that cushion slip away.
I agree. And I just put a poll up over on YouTube.
Yep.
Guys, if you want to get involved, head on over to YouTube. We have the poll up. And I want to try to take the emotion out of it. Do you honestly believe Eric Chavez should be fired? We'll read those results before the end of the stream tonight. And if you want to get your comments read, we got a ton of comments over on YouTube. I see a lot of people commenting on Instagram and X. You want to get involved in the conversation, head on over to YouTube. All right, so let's get to some of these comments I've been starring as you were talking. Klub, that's on you, dog. I can't believe I'm driving 7 hours to see this ish team lose tomorrow. Maybe
you don't know that.
Good luck charm, bro.
Right.
Goomba, two guys. Shout out to Goomba. Two guys scoring at the same time, clowning us. I agree. I thought that was, that's going to be like the Aaron Judge last year dropping a pop fly in center field in the World Series. Mike D says Chavez and Barnes need to go. I don't think they'll fire both. Guys, you be careful what you wish for. Yeah, the Mets might fire Eric Chavez. They might just promote Barnes. I mean, be careful what you wish for. Andre says, Beatty can't hit it all. Mets need a third baseman. Mauricio isn't the answer. I agree. I don't think Mauricio is the answer right now. They've given him a long-term run, but he just can't hit that breaking ball. Leo says, like I said, bring in Suarez from Arizona. I agree. Would be nice. The only thing is he strikes out a ton. We got to get guys that get on base. That's why I'm for the guy over in Arizona, Brandon. His last name always skips me. You know who he is. The second baseman. Let's see. Ship Beatty to Shanghai, Rel says. Yeah. Klub says Mets are going to get booed out of Citi Field when Atlanta comes to town if they keep playing like. I agree. And rightfully so. Fans are paying higher prices than ever, and we're willing to pay it, but we want results. Ramon says, one more time, bad call on the bullpen with Marsh, a lefty, Turner, a righty, and Schwarber, another lefty. He brings in Reed, Garrett, Mendoza. Yep. That's can't disagree with you. This team is making the playoffs, need two good relievers and a center fielder who can hit from Frank. Also, who's going to be pitching in the playoffs? Who?
Sean Manaea, Kodai Senga.
Anthony writes they need to trade for a bat. I agree with you, but it's like, who's your third starter?
You need another one. You do. You need an ace, right? You do. That's it. That's it.
Now, I saw Joe DeMayo tweeted out earlier tonight saying that the Mets should trade for Alcantara. I think it's clear. They're gonna want Jonah Tung.
Really? They should?
Well, I'm telling you, I think they're gonna want Jonah Tung. If I'm them, that's what I'm asking for, because somebody's gonna give me a haul for him, right?
I'd trade Sproat, but yeah, I hear
you. Ray says, bring it, Ray. Say it like it is. I like your first name, by the way. Andre says, firing Chavez solves nothing. I agree. The young players we thought were going to be contributors stink. Pitching lab isn't a miracle worker. I agree. A lot of it's talent. The pitching lab is supposed to aid players. It's not supposed to turn Griffin Canning into a Cy Young candidate, a guy who is out of baseball last year into a Cy Young candidate. That was never the purpose of the pitching lab. It's to help guys like Sean Manaea, who were successful back in the day, tweak their arm angle a little bit and maybe shave a few points off their ERA, like they did with Severino. Look, Severino left. He's been awful for them. That's how it is, you know?
Had a few pitches. That's it. You're right, though.
Maybe Stearns is the one pulling the string with the lineup. Dan, please explain to me, how do you justify Jared Young in this lineup? How? I'd rather see Mauricio out there. At least Mauricio might beat out an infield ball or hit one to space.
He's a lefty with good contact.
Not good contact
anymore.
Right.
Right.
What is he hitting now?
Can't be good.
I'm going to guess he's hitting 142. Let's see.
Jared Young so far this year is batting
161. Oh, he got a hit today, so it jumped by 20 points. 1 for 4.
Well,
160, and he's your DH, Danny. All they do is hit a DH. They should be your best hitters.
We've talked about it. When Winker's back, Young's out of the picture.
Oh, great.
Definitely.
Yeah, pesky Winker. Jose writes, the Mets don't have the fire in them. Sorry, that's the truth. I agree. They're lacking that. Remember, for a long time, Dan, we were playing crappy teams. We're like, what's wrong with Juan Soto? There's something just not clicking with this team. I can't put my hands on it. I don't know. Robert says, bullpen has been poorly constructed and injuries have hurt. Stanek was overrated. I agree. Garrett, has been overused, and the garbage pile guys like Castillo, Garza have been getting exposed. Well, Garza really got exposed for the first time tonight, but that game was already well out of hand. A lot of these comments I can't read. YouTube user, I guess you don't have a thing. Mets aren't getting $1 out of me going forward. Thanks for the memories, 2025. I don't want to overreact like that.
I've heard a lot of that stuff. People just saying I'm tuning out. You know?
Yeah, and that's the biggest fear. Steve Cohen doesn't want that stadium empty in mid-July.
Right.
Robert says they lost their edge. They quit when their going gets tough. I agree. That is a good point by Robert here. Quitting when the going is. Dan, we all felt it. Once you're down 2-0, you felt like maybe not the going gets tough, but they're feeling it. Like Brandon Nimmo's getting singles. Soto, for some reason, he's always looking for the walk. You have yesterday to get bases loaded. Again, he's looking for the walk instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to look on the outside half of the plate and try to shoot one to left field. I want to see him put the bat. I understand the high on base. That's great. 500 plus on base in the month of June. That is great. But he shouldn't be the 3-hitter then, Dan. Your 3-hitter is supposed to drive in runs. Your 4-hitter, like Alonso, drives in runs, leading all MLB in RBIs. Juan Soto should be hitting 2. There's a reason why in Washington he said he didn't want to hit 3. He should be hitting 2, and you get a legitimate run driver behind him. It shouldn't be Alonso. This team needs the legit 3-hitter. We thought it was Lindor. Lindor wants to be the leadoff guy. That whole shebang, whatever. If things don't change and Lindor's still not hitting as a leadoff guy, I'm changing this front 4. I am leading Brandon Nimmo off. I am having Juan Soto as my 2, Lindor as my 3, and Alonso as my 4. Because you know what? Odds are when Nimmo gets on, Nimmo's been getting on at a higher on base clip since moving to the top of the lineup. He'll be on first a lot, opening that hole to the right side. If Soto's looking for the walk and works out a walk, you're going to have first and second a lot, and you'll have Lindor and Alonso who want to put the bat on the ball, for crying out loud, driving these guys in, and they're not going to look for walks. They'll take it, but I feel like Soto fouls off pitches intentionally looking for a walk.
Real quick on that too, you're 100% right. You backed out of the box. I threw a tweet up there just joking, but I mean, he literally stepped out of the box 3-0. He's definitely looking for the walk. He's a generational walker. We know that. I'm not touching the 1 through 4, Ray. I'm going to push back a little bit there because the 1 through 4 hasn't really been the problem. Like, it's everyone after that. Like, Nimmo is the perfect 2-hole hitter. I think Soto is fine in the 3-hole, and Pete, obviously, we've talked about forever. He's the perfect cleanup hitter, but I'd bet McNeil 5th. I really would. I'd move him up and not touch him. And then you could play with 6 through 9 and figure that out, and it could work itself out because you have Mauricio, Beatty. You would think eventually someone will hit there. But I think you can get the 1 through 5 figured out because McNeil seems to be figured out. Marte seems to get figured out. So if you want to bat him 6th, it's not the sexiest lineup in the world, but these are proven guys that can get it going. Nobody's going to buy into Brett Beatty getting it going because he hasn't yet. Jeff McNeil has. So that's all I just wanted to push back just a little bit, but it's all good.
All right, we got some pushback from our boy Goomba. Dan, there is no trades we can make to fix this team. I'm not saying there's no trades. And look, we're not as good as we were the first 2 months of the season, in my opinion. And you're not as bad as right now. But I do kind of agree with Goomba. We are multiple trades away. What do you think, Dan?
Multiple. And again, there's 4, think of 4 targets, right? Outsiders 1 and then 3 realistic ones. I'll start with the outsider 1, catcher, right? A lot of people say, oh, you can trade Alvarez, do what you got to do, get a real guy in here. I don't think that's going to happen. Mets have too many catchers, but it's something to think about. Center field, definitely an option, needs to be improved. Definitely, I think Taylor's good as a 4th outfielder. I don't think he's the answer. Siri could be the answer if he starts hitting, but we've all kind of seen it's just a platoon back and forth. So center field would be an option. We could talk about names and stuff in another live. Leverage reliever, high leverage reliever, a guy that can get saves. So if you can get a lefty in here, that's perfect. You have Rayleigh coming back. That's going to be ideal, but he's 37. So you're going to need someone in there a little bit younger, kind of filling the Stanek role that we want him to be in come in the 9th inning. But right now they don't really have that guy. Jose Castillo's not it. And then the last thing would be a starting pitcher, a top line starting pitcher. DH, save that for another conversation, but starting pitcher. Get someone in here who can eat innings. It doesn't have to be an ace, even though that would be the ideal.
Yeah, I want an ace. I'm sick and tired of watching the Spencer Striders, the Zach Wheelers, the Chris Sales shove it where the sun doesn't shine for us. I'm so tired of that. And this is a great point that Goomba makes right here. I was holding on to this. They have no starting pitching. Penn is cooked from pitching 4 or 5 innings a day, and we have 4 rookies playing every day and paying $360 million for it. That first point is so true, Dan. How many pitchers? I mean, we were waiting till June for a pitcher to go 8 in Peterson. He's the only consistent thing in this rotation right now. Clay Holmes runs out of gas in the 4th inning. Same thing with guys like Griffin Canning. He's gone deep once or twice, but as of late, he can't go deep. These spot starters, if Tidwell comes up, he's going 3 and change or 4 and change. It's been a consistent thing throughout the whole season where Brazoban has pitched 2 innings a million times, it feels. Reed Garrett's been in a ton of games, but I believe 3rd most in MLB. That's how much we're using these guys. Mendy's burning the hell out of this bullpen, and it's only June. That's why they're getting the Garzas and the Luis Castillos, and now they bring back the Neil Nunez today. They have to do that. You have no choice, but that's the issue. Stearns doesn't believe in paying a lot of these pitchers. You need to develop them. Christian Scott won't be back until next year. Brandon Sproat won't be pitching for this team probably until next year. Nolan McLean, I asked this earlier today to a couple of my buddies, somebody who I know that's in Major League Baseball, a former player. I said, where the hell is Nolan McLean? The guy's got a 2 ERA and he's been pitching forever in AAA. And he's like, well, they just feel he needs some more time. You might see him towards the end of the season, maybe in a bullpen role. I'm like, what are we doing here? Why? if it's broken, you got to try to fix it. It's different when it's earlier in the year and you got a lot of guys pitching well. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, now it's broken. It's shattered. We're falling. We are in free fall. What is this? 7 in a row now, Dan?
Yep.
7 in a row? I mean, we're supposed to be a World Series team. I'm not saying, look, teams are going to have bad stretches. 7 in a row, and you're facing your arch rival right now the next 2 games. What is your confidence level, Dan? That's what I ask.
I know. Right now, it's not as high as it could have been if we won these games. That's for sure. And a couple of things with McLean,
or
too.
Be more competitive.
No, you gotta have some fire under your ass, guys. Excuse my English, but you need it. And definitely kick it into that next gear. But right now, again, I want to see how this series goes against Philly, because the Mets had this game just like they did against Atlanta. I understand, but let's see how Paul Blackburn looks tomorrow. That should be fun. But real quick on McLean, too, because I always think about a lot of similarities between Tidwell and Wheeler, the starting pitchers today. And I was just talking about it a little bit. And, Wheeler, when he got traded here in 2011 for Carlos Beltran, he was sitting in the Mets minor league system developing for 2-3 years till he debuted in 13. So I think about Tidwell, too, a guy that developed. He gets drafted 22. We see him up here in 25. So that was a solid 2-3 year, development period. McLean, he's a little bit more advanced, a little bit more refined, a little bit sharper with his breaking stuff than a guy like definitely Tidwell, but also Wheeler. They both had control issues. So that's not McLean's issue. So, yeah, I expect to see him up here by the end of the year. It stinks that it's a bullpen role. I hear you on that, but sometimes that's probably the best bet. That could be Sproat's best bet, too, if we're being honest. Spot start.
Everyone keeps saying get these garbage hitting coaches out of here. I agree with YouTube over here. I don't blame the pitching. Tidwell did just fine. Where are the runs? I agree. Because you know what, Dan? Everyone says, oh, it was 10-2 a blowout. We all agree. But you're not bringing in Garza if it's a 3-2 game, right, or 5-4 game, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Jose Budo has also not had a great season so far this year. He's regressed also this year, but I'm waiting for this offense. I can't believe I'm even saying that. You have 3 guys who are currently in the MVP conversation, would probably all finish top 15 in voting in MVP or right there, and we can't score runs.
But I have 4 All-Stars.
Dude, it's Lindor has to get going, Kevin says. Listen, I don't know how much that foot injury is hurting him. I don't. I'm assuming it's something. That's
and I'm not. Real quick, just to defend myself, like I'm not at anyone who saw my tweet like pointed out numbers about like Lindor struggling. Like I was just saying the numbers. Like I don't ever want a player to struggle, and people saying, "Oh, well, you're not getting on Pete for that." It's like, all right, well, Pete really wasn't struggling, if we're being honest. He didn't have a 0 for 18. Some things are just, you have to point them out. That's all.
Dan writes, we were all shocked our starting pitching bullpen were doing as well as they were. Truth is, they're praying people that questioned our staff off right now. Oh, proving. Sorry. It was cut off on my end. Yeah. A lot of guys are coming back to what they were. I'm not saying Griffin Canning's awful, but he's not going to pitch to a 2 ERA like he was. Andre says, do we see McLean soon? Sproat is not option. He has been brutal. I don't think we're going to see McLean. I don't. I want to see what Brandon Sproat's been up to. We all spoke about how bad of a year he's gotten off to, right? Have you seen his stats, Dan?
Not of recent. Well, let's see.
His ERA is a 5.68. I remember when he was first down there, it was like an 8.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that
a little better.
A little better. Obviously, that doesn't mean much, but I mean, he's 24. He'll be 25 at the end of the year. But Sproat's a guy I could see them bringing up and putting him in the bullpen. Go throw 100 plus out of the bullpen and blow guys away. Get your first taste of the big leagues that way. I could see that, but I don't know who's out there, Dan. We all keep going back to Sandy Alcantara. Robert says the pen is overused early and the team is reaping the results of that overuse. Minter and Kranick have been replaced by chicken-ish instead of chicken salad type of players. Sure. No.
And Zach Gallen too is an option. Mitch Keller is an option. Edward Cabrera is an option. Freddie Peralta is an option. Zach Littell. There's names. They're not great, but they're guys that can beef up this rotation and give you innings. So
Arizona. You know what's funny? Everyone's saying Arizona's trading. They're 500 right now. What is the NL wildcard standings?
you have to be careful. Yeah, I mean, teams like the Brewers, they're only a game or a half game out, but Freddie Peralta only making $9 million. It makes a lot of sense for a team like that to trade him. But yeah, it's going to be a weird trade deadline.
The Diamondbacks are only 3 out of the wild card right now in the National League. Right now, the New York Mets are the #1 wild card team. If the season ended today, I think we'd be having a rematch. Would we? No, Milwaukee's not in first. We would be facing off against Chicago in the wild card round. The Cubs.
Love it.
I believe. Maybe not. I don't know. Something like that.
I mean, it could. Yeah.
Chicken salad. A lot of people were loving that comment. We'll get to 1 or 2 more before we close things up tonight. Guys, if you're enjoying this content, make sure you leave us a thumbs up. And if you're really enjoying it, consider subscribing. Share it with a friend.
Real quick, if we can get time for a couple more comments. Metcast trivia question of the night. Which Met won the Cy Young in 2012? I'll repeat. Which Met won the Cy Young in 2012?
Are we allowed to give hints? I know it off the top of my head.
Well, I would hope. That's why, first.
Traded.
There you go.
And I got that guy's bobblehead, the one we traded for. Where is he? There's the hint in the background. There's actually 2 of them up there. Let's see what else we got going on here before we get to that. Kevin says, yes, fire Chavez. Let's see what that poll is at right now over. All right. So Dan, if I don't look at the poll results right now, if you haven't voted, vote on YouTube. We'll get to that in just a second. I want to see if Dan could guess it correctly. I know, Anthony, you got to do something, but they're not going to do anything now. David Stearns is a patient guy. If anything, he showed us how patient he is. That's like his MO. He's going to be patient. Marlins smoked the Braves tonight, of course. Did they? Yeah, 6-2.
It's good.
6-2, and the Braves scored a run in the 8th. It was 4-0 up to the 4th, 4-1, 5-1, 6-1 in the 6th, all the way to the 8th. Yeah, that's also another thing. When you're top dog, people have a bullseye on you. We all knew that when Braves used to rule the roost of the division, you looked forward to playing them. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Leo says your favorite guy, Arenado. Hell no.
It creates a winning window for the Mets. That's what it does. But it's tough. He would have to wait.
Stats this year. Let's see. He's hitting a whopping 240 something.
He'd have to waive his no trade, and it'd be a whole thing.
Oh, he would.
He would to the Mets.
His OPS is 707.
Shout out Robert Nolan too, getting R.A. Dickey. Andre just close to the second. Leo right behind him. But yeah, R.A. Dickey, Mets 2012 Cy Young.
Yep, so traded for Travis d'Arnaud and Noah Syndergaard. All right, so here you have it.
We're hitting all the different generations here.
Yep. Arenado, 21 this year, 16 the year after that, and in 2027, 15 million. No thanks. We got to get younger. Subway to Che Anthony. I will try, bro. Bartels for the Grom trade.
I'll go to Texas. Hell yeah. No state income tax. I'm out of here.
And Ray on it. Oh, here we go. There you go. Sell us
New
on
York's
it. Go ahead,
taxing
Dan.
me out of my ass. What?
Sell us on the trade.
For DeGrom?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Texas right now, hey, they're faltering a little bit. I don't know their exact record. I'll look it up real quick. But the Rangers right now are 37-39. They beat the Pirates tonight, as many teams in baseball have this year. But if they continue to falter under 500 and say they go 7 games under or something like that before the trade deadline, all right, I think they would consider it. And if there's so many things, nobody has to be sold. The guy is his 37th birthday this week. We all know he's the greatest pitcher I've ever seen. A lot of Mets
When does
fans.
he get to collect Social Security?
Yeah. Yeah, if that doesn't run out, that's crazy.
That has Max Scherzer and Verlander written all over. Ready for this? Do these numbers sound familiar to you? Let's take a trip down memory lane.
He's pitching amazing, Ray. He's pitching
I know.
Next
year he's due $38 million. Remember, we're taxed. So Cohen's paying him $75 million next year. The year after that, at age 39, he's making $37 million. And then at age 40, there's a club option for 20. That's something the Met fan needs to take into consideration. Yeah, DeGrom sounds great. Steve Cohen's not paying him $75 million. No way. He lost $150 million last year on this team, asking fans to come out and support the team. Jumps the payroll drastically by bringing Soto in. DeGrom would throw up another $75 million. I think the contract kind of weighs that way. That's why you look at Alcantara, he's only making $20 million. Oh, there goes my
You're right. I just wanted to quickly interject because you're 100% right. It feels like a pipe dream. We're not stupid here. Like, yes, we like talking about it because it's a really, really fun subject to a certain amount of people, but it grows bored over time. You just ask because can you pay that money? That's what you just asked. Would Cohen be willing to do that? I think it's more realistic than we think from the sense that he is willing to just spend money. And smartly, yes, but also willing to go up $100 million like it's nothing for Juan Soto. Again, different players that we're talking about here, but willing to give Pete a little bit more if he needs to. I'm sure Steve Cohen stepped in. We've talked about that in those closed door meetings, kind of, maybe just with the signing bonus or whatever it was. Cohen definitely instigated and helped move that along to get Alonso back, whether it be bringing in Lindor, $300 million. So I think it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Let me ask you this, Dan. Ready?
Yeah.
And this will clarify a lot of things. I'm not saying Cohen wouldn't do it. Sell me David Stearns taking on 2.5 years, $125 million on an older pitcher. He wouldn't even give Severino 3 years at 30 years old.
You're right. He probably wouldn't.
Him to pay a 39-year-old pitcher?
He would have to justify. He'd have to look into the 2 Tommy Johns, hope that the medicals are good, and believe that he can get the same production that we've seen from Jacob deGrom over the next 2 years. If he believes in his heart that he can project out that far and confidently say that, trying to think like Stearns, he'd probably pull the trigger, but that's a tough ask.
Would you trade Jet Williams and Jonah Tongue?
Can I trade Sproat instead of Tongue?
No. They're not stupid. Texas ain't stupid. Notice what Texas did. Texas has all these great top prospects, and they trade us the worst one. They trade us the only one that can't hit. Oh, he could throw a ball hard from shortstop. He could steal a bag or two. He can't put the ball on the bat, which is the name of baseball. Literally, like, think about how, in my opinion, and maybe you guys think I'm nuts, which is fine, whatever. But I always tell you I'll keep it a buck here. Shout out over 1,000 people in here right now. I'm a little surprised by that. A lot of you guys feel the way we do, clearly. What is going to happen to Luis Angel Acuña's progression at such a young age to start once every 7 days? He should not be on this team. He should be playing in AAA. And I want the best for him because it helps us in the long run. Whether or not it's trading him or he's got no value right now. Just doesn't. If you were to call another team with a trade package, he would not be one of the premier guys that a team would ask for. Coming into the year, you could have got a ton for him. And I told you, Dan, We got to trade him now. He's not going to hit major league pitching consistently. He couldn't hit in the minor leagues. And all we kept hearing, think about the bull crap we heard, Dan, in spring training because he wasn't hitting from Lindor. Well, he's kind of bored. Excuse me? Excuse me? You are trying to make the major league roster of the New York Mets and you're bored in spring training? No, you're just not good at hitting the ball. It is what it is. And for anybody who wants to come at me, because I know on X, everybody's going to at me. On Facebook, everyone's going to come at me. Go look at his MILB stats from last year. He couldn't hit a lick. So I'm glad Anthony stays with me. You're able to express your emotions. You're one of the YouTubers who calls it how it is. Jared Young batting 6th. I've been screaming about this for 3 weeks now. What are we doing? Well, and I'm surprised they didn't inquire about Devers. Could play third base, could DH. Nothing from Mets, though. I'm not surprised at all. Only because it'd be the right move.
It's the same thing with Bregman. They should have went after Bregman this offseason, and they didn't.
Well, Devers is younger. Devers is a different caliber player. 28 years old, $25 million a year, 900 plus OPS. He's the guy you stick behind Alonso or stick in the 2-hole. Holy cow. Now Nimmo's to 5, McNeil's to 6. Who cares who's 7, 8, 9 at that point? You have 4 Hall of Fame talents. And yes, Pete Alonso, if he sticks around another 8 years, which he probably will get, he'll end up being in the Hall of Fame because he's going to, at least the Mets Hall of Fame no matter what, because he's going to pass Strawberry shortly. But he's going to hit 500 home runs. He will do it. I'm very confident. Lindor's a Hall of Famer. Devers is on his way to be a Hall of Famer. And I don't need to say what Juan Soto is because he just joined Mickey Mantle in a bunch of stats for the youngest players to get to 1,000 hits.
You're right. Mets can't spoil this winning window, right? Lindor's not getting any younger. You know, he has probably 3 or 4 more solid years of baseball left. Make the most of it. Go out and add. We were talking about a Vlad, right? We were sitting here saying in the December months, oh, we could get Vlad and Pete. Well, obviously that's not going to happen, but still dream big. Go get a Jarren Duran. Go get it. Again, I just don't know who's available. That's the thing.
Here's I don't know, Jarren Duran.
We got to see.
Get to this really quick. Goomba, I apologize. Yeah. I didn't see it. We literally have 1,000 comments between all the platforms. A super chat from Goomba. Appreciate it.
Thank you, bro.
6 runs scored, 43 given up the last 5 days. Oh, my gosh. I can't.
It's inexcusable.
I'm trying not to be like our boy Frank the Tank. Trying not, but this was our put up, shut up segment. I was not going to air it today, but Dan, my gosh, how brutal is this? It is. And we keep hearing, what is Mendoza saying? What is Mendoza say? Overall, Dan, you tell me, what is Mendoza saying in regard to all this? What's the justification? Is it just, we got to be better? Because I mean, look, I like to mess around. I like to put some new things together. Sometimes it's dumb, but that's part of the platform. But as part of the put up or shut up, I made this friendly graphic for our boy.
Official. The next season is over.
I have to. That's how we all feel right now. Put up or shut up. I'm Dan. What if we lose tomorrow and now it's 8 and you're 2 out? Is it still hold your horses? Everything's going to be all right. Like the song, every little thing is going to be all right. You know what I mean? What are we doing here?
Then you start to panic, Ray. And you know what I'm going to say really after the Braves series, because we already swept Philly. It's just kind of a rough stretch of the season. Like that's kind of the point we're at. I want to see how we look against the Braves a second time, how we look at home against the Braves a second time. Other than that, yeah, we'll push the panic button if we get swept by Philly. But if you can take at least one, really it's must win tomorrow. But if you can take 2 out of 3, that's the ideal.
I'm worried about winning 1.
I know. No, I hear you. I hear you.
What's the pitching matchup tomorrow? Why don't you break that down for us? You're always on top of that.
Yeah,
While
so
you're doing that, I'll pull up a couple more comments.
So the probables tomorrow, we have Blackburn going. Oh, excuse me, Griffin Canning going for the New York Mets. He is 6-3, 3.80. He had a rough outing last time out against the Rays. He only went 4 1/3 innings. The walks killed him, similar to the way that they killed Holmes when he allowed 6 walks this week. A career high, a season high for him. Griffin Canning, same thing, 5 walks for him. So he was not good. Hopefully he can bounce back against Mick Abel, who's pitching very well for the Phillies. So he's 2-0, 2.1 ERA, 2.2.
Oh, fantastic.
So, again, it's not Paul Blackburn against Chris Sale. It's not that kind of a crazy swing. But, Griffin Canning against Mick Abel, it's going to be a tough one, both sides of the ball. And then David Peterson going on, I lose track of the day, Sunday against Jesus Luzardo, who a lot of people, by the way, said, the Mets should have traded for him. Yeah, he's in the middle of the pack. So Peterson actually has the advantage there.
Well, he had those 2 brutal starts. He had 20 runs in 2 starts.
That's right. Yeah.
Dolo says Mendy cooked Brazos and Reed's arm. I agree with you. A lot of fire Chavez, fire Mendoza. Let's see where that poll is at. All right, Dan. Hold on. Let me refresh this. I don't know if this is live. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's changed a little since I last seen it. So here's our YouTube poll. Should the New York Mets fire Chavez immediately? Dan, what is the percent that said yes and no?
73% yes, 27% said no.
83%
Oh.
17.
Wow, so that's even worse. Wow.
And I know we all want to say let's not be reactionary, but this has been a thing all season. We've been middle of the pack offensively, but a lot of that is because of the Washington game.
I'm not calling for someone's job. That's just me. But
all right. Well, you don't have to. I will. Which I haven't. I have not.
Yeah, I hear you.
I have not called for anyone's job.
No,
period.
I know.
I'm not even right now.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that they're bad hitting coach. And remember, how many times has Kevin Long been hired and fired? He's a great Kevin Long. The Yankees fired him. We fired him. He was what was he with Washington afterwards? They fired him. Who?
The Rays. He was
with.
Yep.
Sometimes you need that spark, whether it's a players only meeting, which worked for us last year, or something like that happening. I'm a little surprised because I know a lot of us, including myself, big defenders of David Stearns, but he deserves some blame here. He does. He was ill-equipped the bench this offseason. There should be more veterans on this bench that have experience at least playing in the infield. You have a veteran outfield. The Winkers, the Martes, you literally have 3 backup outfielders on this team. Taylor, Marte, and Winker. But the backups in the infield, Mauricio, next to no experience. Vientos is hurt. Beatty, no experience. That's what you're dealing with. And then you're bringing up guys like Jared Young. I still can't get over that. What? They're just praying he hits a home run? He has what? I think he's got 2 hits and one of them's a home run?
Yeah.
If I'm correct?
He has 1 home run, yeah. And 1, I think that's, yeah.
Just brutal, Dan. Brutal. But that's all we got for you guys today. I know a lot of you guys have commented, and we're not going to get to all your comments. Shout out to the well over 1,000 people in here. Thanks so much for joining us. We know you guys feel as we do, or similar, maybe not always, and I could be a firecracker. Dan seems to be the voice of reason more often than not. But if you're enjoying this content, make sure you leave us a thumbs up. Go subscribe to us over on YouTube and on Facebook. Dan, any final words before we come back tomorrow?
Well, yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Just feels like a must win. You got to just pull a rabbit out of the hat if you're the New York Mets, and hopefully Griffin Canning is one of the reasons for that happening. Everybody have a great rest of your Friday night.
And no matter what, Let's
Let's
go
go
Mets.
Mets. Come on.
Peace out.